The last rays of sunlight bled into the Venetian sky, staining the clouds with hues of crimson and gold. As the sun dipped below the horizon, it was as if the city itself held its breath, mesmerized by the spectacle. And then, just as suddenly, silence. A hush fell over the canals that was almost deafening. It was a kind of quiet that made the distant chime of a clock tower seem like thunderous applause. I stood there at the edge of the Grand Canal, my heart beating in time with the lapping water against the dock. All around me, the shops were shuttered up, their awnings pulled tight against the darkening sky. Even the pigeons seemed to have sought refuge, their usual boisterous chatter silenced. The towering palaces that lined the canal reflected the fading light back up into the sky, turning the scene into a painting of fiery oranges and deep reds. This wasn't just a sunset, it was a goodbye, a farewell to the day and all its noise, making way for the night to unfurl its mysteries. And then I heard it, or maybe I felt it more than heard it, a soft sigh, like the wind rustling through ancient pages. It was the sound of the city exhaling, releasing the tension of the day, revealing the secrets it kept hidden in plain sight. It was an invitation, a beckoning for me to explore the Venice that only emerges after dark. With a deep breath, I stepped into the cool embrace of the evening. The air was thick with the smell of salt and the distant aroma of cucina povera, the simple peasant food that fills Venice's bed. I started to walk, drawn deeper into the labyrinth of narrow streets and silent squares. With each step, I could feel the energy of the city shifting, changing from the bustling tourist hotspot of the day into a place where shadows danced and whispers lingered. As the glow of dusk deepened into navy skies, sprinkled with diamonds of stars, I found myself in the heart of the Cannaregio district. Here, the Grand Canal splits into smaller waterways, creating a network of intimate canals and bridges. This is where Venice truly comes alive after dark. I crossed one of these tiny bridges and found myself in a quiet square bathed in the silver light of the moon. All around me, the buildings huddled close, their windows like watchful eyes peering out into the darkness. And then I saw it. A small osteria tucked away in a corner like it was hiding. The sign above creaked slightly in the non-existent breeze, its paint chipped and faded with time. But what drew me in wasn't the building's appearance, it was the light spilling out from within. It was a warm, inviting glow that promised respite from the enveloping darkness. And so, I stepped inside. The interior was like stepping into another era, cool and dimly lit, with the walls adorned with old-world paintings and mismatched furniture hinting at countless stories. The air was thick with the mingled scents of aged wood, wine, and fresh baking bread. Behind the worn wooden counter, bottles glistened in the dim light, their labels whispering tales of vineyards past. And then there was the food, displayed on the counter like treasures waiting to be discovered. There were trays of cicchetti, the Venetian tapas, served with wine, plates piled high with seafood, risotto, and grilled meats, each dish a miniature masterpiece. I settled onto a stool, letting the atmosphere wash over me. It was more than just a bar, it was a portal to another time. A place where the outside world faded away and all that mattered was the company, the food, and the wine. As the night deepened, the rotisserie filled with locals, their voices adding music to the quiet hum of the evening. They spoke in hushed tones about the day's gossip, their words mixing with the clink of glasses and the murmur of conversation. I ordered a glass of wine, its taste a robust dance on my tongue, mirroring the lively spirit of the place. Then came the cicchetti, each bite a burst of flavor, perfectly seasoned and artfully presented. There was a mix of traditional Venetian dishes like sard and sour, crispy fried fish with sweet and sour onions, and bacala mantecato, a creamy whipped codfish. These were staples of Venetian cuisine, yet they tasted like poetry on my palate. And then there was the most Venetian of them all, the spritz. It arrived in a stemmed glass, a beautiful marriage of bright pink aperol, crisp white wine, and sparkling water. To make a spritz, you must be precise. Pour the aperol with the practiced hand of a maestro, then top it off with a splash of water. It's a drink that captures the essence of Venice, a perfect balance between work and play, tradition and innovation. As I sipped my spritz, I found myself swept up in the magic of the moment. Surrounded by the warmth of the osteria, the vibrant flavors of the food, and the lively spirit of the people, I felt truly alive. It was as though the city itself had opened its arms, welcoming me into its embrace. For a few precious hours, I forgot about everything else. There was only the company, the wine, the food, and the stories they told. Stories of Venice, stories of life. But even as I reveled in the atmosphere, a part of me couldn't help but wonder about the silent streets above. What secrets did they hold? What stories did they whisper to those who knew where to listen? I thanked the company of the Astoria, promising to return soon. I stepped out into the velvet night, eager to uncover more of Venice's hidden charms. My path took me through a labyrinth of narrow alleyways and over charming bridges, each turn revealing a new surprise. The moon, my only guide, painted the canals in shimmering silver, making them sparkle like 1,000 diamonds. Suddenly, I stopped. My gaze was drawn to a sight before me, a small campo or square nestled between ancient buildings, its edges softened by creeping vines. In the center stood a lone Venetian well, its sides adorned with intricately carved marble. It was a relic from a bygone era, a silent sentinel that had witnessed centuries pass. But it was in the shadows that the magic happened. As the moonlight touched the water in the well, it transformed into liquid silver. It was a mesmerizing sight, as though the well itself was a portal to the moon's ethereal realm. Around me, the square came alive. A couple strolled by, their laughter echoing softly in the stillness. A lone cat padded across the paving stones, its emerald eyes gleaming in the darkness. The scent of jasmine drifted from a nearby window, mingling with the salty temps of the sea. For a while, I stood there mesmerized by the beauty of the night, feeling as though I had stumbled upon a secret known only to the moon and the well. It was in moments like these that I understood why Venice was more than just a city. It was a living, breathing entity, a place where the boundaries between reality and dreams blurred. As the night deepened, I found myself wandering along the Zatter, a promenade that runs along the waterfront. The Zatter is a place of contrasts. On one side, the vibrant colors of the sunset fade into the deep blues and purples of twilight. On the other, the gentle lapping of the water against the docked boats creates a soothing rhythm. The air was cooler here, a welcome change from the stifling heat of the day. I walked past groups of friends, animatedly discussing the day's events. Their voices carried on the breeze, mixing with the distant strains of a guitar. Up ahead, I saw them, the ghosts of Venice. They glided through the water, their gondolas dancing on the waves. These weren't your typical gondola rides with singing gondoliers. No, this was Venice's secret, nocturnal side. The gondolas moved silently, the shadows stretching long and distorted in the lamplight. Each stroke of the gondolier's pole sent ripples spreading across the water, carrying secrets only the canals could hear. As I watched them drift past, I couldn't help but wonder where they were going, what hidden coves and secluded canals they were visiting. For a moment, I felt a pang of longing, a desire to join them in their shadowy journey, but I knew that wasn't my story to tell. Their tales belonged to the darkness, and I was just a visitor passing through, and so I continued my walk, content to let the ghosts of Venice haunt their watery realm, forever bound to the secrets of the canals. The night wore on, the hours slipping by like sand through an hourglass. With each passing moment, Venice revealed more of its hidden charms, and as the first hint of dawn touched the sky, I knew it was time to go, but I wouldn't leave empty-handed. I was taking Venice with me, its echoes imprinted on my soul. It had given me a glimpse into its nocturnal heart, a world of whispers, shadows, and ancient stories. And as I stepped back into the daylight, I couldn't help but smile. I had come to Venice seeking beauty, but I was leaving with so much more. I had found magic in the mundane, mystery in the ordinary. Venice had shown me that sometimes the greatest adventures are found in the quietest corners, if you only know where to look. And I knew, with a certainty that went beyond logic, that this wasn't goodbye. It was only until next time when Venice would welcome me back into its arms and show me once again that it est not just a city. It's a feeling, a state of mind, a dream that refuses to fade.